we're back. Trevor Horn, downtown TBC studios, and we've got some really, really good athletes and a okay coach over there. Stockdale track and field team in studio. Did I just put coach on blast? Sorry, Dave Lonsinger, one of the nicest men I've ever met in my life, hanging out in studio with us. And Dave, once again, you got a really good track and field team. I want to introduce them first. On my left, junior Aaliyah Wilson, hurdler, sprinter. Marcus Mota, just a sophomore, but the #1 sophomore in the nation in the 3,200. And then Iesha Hamm, the state leader in the high jump, also a hurdler and a sprinter as well. Guys, welcome. How are you?
Good.
Could be better.
All right, so anyway, Dave, how are you?
We're all running around. It's a very busy time of year. You came out to practice the other day. You know, the training cycles is difficult at this point, and the meet schedule is very much one that doesn't allow us clean training weeks. This week we finally got a little bit of what we call a clean training week, where we can go Monday through Thursday or Monday through Friday. But the kids are doing an amazing job of handling that. This is part of the process, and they're growing in it.
Well, that's the thing is no league meet today. Part of the reason why you guys were able to come in today. Aaliyah, for you, I think it's incredible, and I go back to 4 years ago when I did that story on the hurdler medley team from Vacaville, where up there, not having an all-weather track is an anomaly up in the Sacramento Bay Area. But here, you know, you're special if you have one. It's Chavez, it's Kennedy, and Liberty, and that's it right now until BHS builds theirs. So, Aaliyah, you're, 6th in the state right now in the 100 hurdles, but you practice on the football field. When you go to other events and you talk to other kids that have all-weather tracks and you tell them that you practice on the grass or on dirt, what do they tell you? Do they just go, how do you do that?
Well, I've never told them that I practice on the grass or the dirt.
Now, is that just because the conversation's never come up, or is that something you're like, I don't want them to know, or what is it?
No, the conversation never comes up.
But when you see it, I mean, do you realize that, you know, what you guys are able to do without the facilities that some of the other schools have throughout the state? No?
No.
Doesn't even matter.
No,
and that's the nice thing
doesn't.
about it, Dave, is that they really don't know and they don't care. They just want to be the best.
Yeah. I think that's one of the strengths of our program and always has been. We kind of say we don't let anything limit us, right? And I think part of that is the attitude. We don't even look at it, right? We go out there and we expect to compete well. We expect to grow as we do it, and we expect to do it together. And it is spectacular to watch. I had a young woman who's coaching Clovis High School, and there's a jumper that jumped against Iesha that's very good. And the conversation did come up with me, and she knew, and she goes, how? And she was talking to two of their other coaches. She goes, do you know these guys don't ever practice on all weather? And I said, that's just who we are. That's okay. Our kids. We do enough stuff that we feel confident that we're going to be very good, and it won't limit us. But they were just astounded, like you said, because it's not normal with some of these great programs.
Saturday was a long day for you. The two girls here did something great up in Clovis, and then Marcus went down to Azusa Pacific and did. Go through the day. For us, please.
Yeah, I give the kids all the credit because we were up at 5:30, had the team meet at 5:45. We're out of there at 6 o'clock from Stockdale in a bus. The two young women were among about 45 kids, and we went to Clovis North High School. It was rainy and cold. They've traveled 2 hours. The girls' relay team had probably less than an hour to warm up, and they went out and won and beat Clovis North, who had been a little bit ahead of us. And then they carried into the day with Iesha's outstanding high jump. You know, not only did she make 5.9, she had a decent attempt at 5.11. And then Aaliyah, obliterating the field and running super fast. Again, unbelievable to see kids get up, travel 2 hours in the cold, and have the kind of mindset that they're going to go out and just that's going to be part of who they are. And then to go back, I came back about 6:45. Dropped off my stuff, jumped in a van, which they'd give me keys to, and I drove down to Southern California. Marcus was already down there warming up, got to Azusa Pacific, talked with him, and watched him run a spectacular race in a very physical, talented, close field with a big PR. And it was so much fun to watch these kids do all these things, not just have great results, but stay into the process knowing they're going to grow, and in the long run it's going to benefit them.
Marcus, for you, how much fun was that race? I mean, you took 12th in this race. But yet, it was an incredible race. You're number 2 in the section behind Everett Silver, who was just in front of you. Talk us through that race at 3,200 and how big it was and where it put your mindset of where you could be in the state this year.
Well, First of all, that race was the most aggressive race I've ever been in. There were so many hands on each other's back, a lot of pushing, a lot of elbowing. Like, wow, I don't know. It was just, it was tough. It was like that throughout the whole race. There wasn't a moment where there wasn't there wasn't aggressiveness. There was always just up until like the last 200 meters where there was like a nice opening, and me and Everett, we battled it out throughout the whole race. It was pretty cool. I have a lot of respect for him now. I've always had respect for him, and we just started becoming friends, which is cool.
But you guys never raced together in cross country a lot because you guys are in two different divisions. Be able to get in that race and kind of see where the two of you are, was that the big thing? Because you know that you're going to see him time and time again as the year goes on, probably at Arcadia and then at Masters and State.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely see each other a lot more throughout the year. It'll be cool, and hopefully we can both do really well this year. And yeah. Dave,
you've had some decent long distance boys runners in the past, and I say that with all sincerity that it is 100% joke by saying that. Blake Haney, the greatest long distance runner in Central Section history, now at Oregon. You throw our little buddy Cam in there. Cameron Miller, who's now in a master's program at Arizona State, which is really neat. I love that kid. But when you throw Marcus into the mix, where does he rank with those two?
And let me throw a couple guys just because we have to be fair. Connor Fisher, who's now at Chico State and is the 7th fastest steeplechaser all divisions in the country. And then
which
also
is a man's race.
Yeah, and Lucas Burke, who was the captain of the Naval, was a Valley champion for us, was the captain of the Naval Academy track team. So there's a great tradition. Marcus belongs in that group. I saw last year, it didn't take me long to see it, maybe halfway through the year, and especially I think by the Reedley meet, the kind of young man he was, a guy that was going to be diligent in training. He wasn't going to rationalize either training or races. He was going to be very objective with himself, and also was compassionate like those guys were with his teammates. So he had that humility mixed with that great drive that you see in all three of these kids today, these young people, and that's why he's a great athlete. He absolutely is going to be a terror. He already is, but he's going to be a terror before he's done to deal with.
It's a lot of fun to watch these guys. Iesha, you talk about 5 feet 8 inches in the high jump is your magical mark at Stockdale. She cleared it last week at the league meet, and then went 5'9" at Clovis North on Saturday. Before we get into her, I want your opinion on, you have 2 state champs, both cleared it, and now she's your third. Where is the ceiling for her in her final year for you?
Well, I think she can break our school record. I think Gondar's school record is 5'10" and I think a half, or 5'10" and 3/4, and I think she can jump 5 feet 11. And we'll see. I mean, I'm not going to put a number on her. She's got the ability to do something like that. So you're talking about somebody who could jump as high or higher than 2 people who have been California state champions. And she's an amazing young woman. She's so well-rounded. You've seen her hurl and sprint. We talked today. This is who we are, right? We come out rolling out of class into a van, come over to do stuff with you today, and then we're going to roll right back out and practice. And that's Iesha. She's so well-versed at doing a lot of things, and I think that helps her composure as the bar goes up and the pressure goes on a lot of people. She stays into that process and staying into what she should be doing, not thinking about the result.
Iesha, what goes through your mind every time that you line up and you're 25 feet from a bar that is taller than you?
I just try to stay relaxed as possible. I don't really I try to imagine myself how my form will look of me clearing the bar, and I try to stay relaxed. And I eat a lot too, so.
I wish I could say that. See, they get to eat all they want.
Yeah.
They get to sleep all they want. They get to eat all they want. And we have to monitor all that stuff on our own. Dave, we were talking about it with Zach in the last segment about how Stockdale, your school, your campus kind of dominates the spring sports. We see that with the baseball team. They were state ranked. Softball team is still undefeated. The golf team is the best team in the city again. Your boys tennis team is undefeated in the league. Swimming and diving is always up there. And, of course, you guys. Why?
Well, I think it starts with the tremendous young people that we have, that we get placed in our care. I mean, the families that they come from. I just think our kids are unbelievable. I think they're well-rounded. I think they're loving of each other, and I think they're obviously gifted. So I think that's a huge starting point. And then I would say we've been blessed to have a lot of experience running those programs as coaches. I think we've had a lot of people that have been at that school for a long time. And these guys will tell you there's a lot that goes down in a season. And to have somebody who's experienced that as a coach, that's a big advantage because you're hopefully able to maintain an air of calmness like Iesha talked about so that you're not putting more pressure on a young athlete instead of helping them alleviate that pressure and focus on the process, which is going to take them where they want to be.
As we talked with Blake as the top distance runner in section history, Morgan Hill, top hurdler in section history, you had a conversation with her, Aaliyah, last week when she was down on spring break training during the league meet. How was that conversation with Morgan Hill? And did you take anything away from that, knowing that you're on the heels of what she's done?
The conversation was pretty cool. Like, I've actually never talked to her or really seen her that much before. But what I took from it was, I don't know. Dang.
Was it exciting to see her and like get a little bit of wisdom out of somebody that's, been so successful in the event that you're so successful at?
Yes, it definitely made me want to work even harder to get my times on, knowing that that I'm close to what she ran, right, and maybe even faster.
Which is incredible because you talk about 13:77 in the 100 hurdles, and you're at 14:24. Little technique, and she can get there, Dave?
Yeah, I'm glad to get to talk about all three of these guys. Morgan, first of all, was an amazing athlete and woman. Like, we talk about these guys being amazing athletes and young men and women, and I feel that way about them. Morgan was a tremendous competitor and a very high-character woman who was very hardworking and diligent. I saw it personally when I was training Blake. We'd be out that track towards state. Yeah, we talked about it a little bit, I think, the other day. What started off Morgan had on her was technique and experience. Every year, Aaliyah's improved a ton. She's drastically better this year. I expect her to continue to improve. We work on those things in practice. And then speed endurance. Morgan was a very strong, long sprinter. Aaliyah's taken that up in her game big time this year, and she continues to evolve in that, and we'll train her there. Then the last thing she really has going in her favor, if those things become close, is her flat 100 speed is better than Morgan's. So I think if those things come together, you're looking at a kid who's can run some very special times. She already is. And just like I said about Iesha and about Marcus, I have zero doubt that they're going to stay into the process, and usually that means there's going to be a pretty tremendous result.
I love the track and field community in Kern County. I've really kind of grasped at how fun it is to see these kids, and it's not just these three. You look at Moises Medrano, your buddy. He's number 3 in the state in the 800, number 9 in the nation. You're the number 1 sophomore in the nation. You look at the Ridgeview 1600 relay team, number 10 in the state. Daniel Viveros, just a sophomore like Marcus is. He's number 10 in the state in the boys' shot put. His older sister, who's going to Mississippi State, is number 5 and 6 in the state. Iesha Viveros over at Liberty in the girls' shot put. Go down the line. Last night, Kristen, my wife, and I, who you guys met on Monday, went out to dinner last night at Chili's, and who's sitting next to us? Anna Gelmini, who is the greatest discus thrower, obviously, in California, in the U.S. history, in the discus. Dave, for you, how much fun is it to know that year in and year out there's always going to be great track and field athletes in Kern County, and why is it such a hotbed for them?
Well, I mean, California in general, I think you start off with, right? You have the combination of a dense population, and I think the beauty of Kern County is there's a large, diverse population. So when you have a diverse, not only ethnically, but culturally, people's backgrounds and lives and jobs and talents coming together, you have the weather, which we have in California, sometimes too hot, but it works for us, right? And then you have the fact that there's this competition, right, because of being in California in our section in town, that usually breeds people becoming better athletically. So I think this community has been, we've talked about our school, we have a tremendous history, right, of not only state champions, but medalists. This town has a great history of it, and I think that works towards people looking, 2 things, right? Competition, they will tell you, helps foster your game, helps you want to get better. And the other thing is, you can point at somebody and go, man, he went to my school, she went to my school, she's from my town, he's from my town. I tell these guys, they're examples all the time. You don't know that some little young kid's looking at them right now going, man, maybe I could be somewhat like that.
Yep.
And that's a big deal.
Guys, before we let you go and end the show, I want to just ask each one of you, goal for this year between now and June 2nd and June 3rd. Aaliyah?
My goal is to hopefully be in the 13s in the 100 hurdles and 11s in the 100 meters. And maybe, I don't know, I might want to make the threes a main event because I'm getting really good at those. So.
And like you talked to Morgan, how much fun you love being able to just go on an all-out sprint for 300 meters and have your endurance tested too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Marcus, for you, what's the goal between now and June 3rd?
A goal would be to make it to state because I didn't get a chance to do that last year as a freshman. So that would be a big goal, and try to get sub 9:10 in the 32. So that'd be cool.
That'd be incredible. Iesha, I kind of figure I know what you're gonna say, but go ahead and tell us what your goal is.
My goal was 5'10", but now I think I'm gonna shoot for 6'2" and to win state.
That's huge.
Yeah.
See, win state, that's what I was hoping, because you need to set your bar high to be able to achieve that moment. And I enjoy watching all three of you guys. Dave, I enjoy everything you guys do. We're just getting started. Spring break's not even here yet, so it's going to be a lot of fun down the stretch. Guys, thanks for coming in. Aaliyah Wilson, Marcus Mota, Iesha Hamm, and Dave Lonsinger. We had Zach Ewing call in from New York. Tough life for that guy, right? That's all we got for you guys. We'll be back next week. Full hour. Zach and I will be back. And thanks. And BVarsity Nightly will be back Monday night. We'll have 5 shows next week on BVarsity Nightly. Bunch of highlights to go through next week. So until then, I'm Trevor Horn. This is BVarsity Live. Thanks to Chris McCullough, our director. You guys have a good one. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Looking deep down the left side, Mendenhall into the end zone, touchdown!